Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue our beat formula series right here at BusyWorksBeats.com. And today we're going to focus on Scott Storch. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We train over 1 million producers around the world, so I'm going to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Lil Baby, Trippie Redd, Polo G, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, a long list of folks. All right, so let's get into it. I have the strings here for the Scott Storch sound, and we have some drums. You guys will get all the project files for free, so don't try to memorize everything here. The key is going to be C sharp minor. The notes that are blue represent this scale. So it's, let me switch the sound here. So it's these sounds here. So we are C sharp minor. Let's go down here. Okay, so those are the notes in the scale, and we're just going to start mapping out our drums first and build around that. That way we can keep our audio somewhat quantized. Keep in mind, I'm recording from a keyboard. There's no quantize on audio unless you're in Ableton. So let's do boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. All right, so boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. We're at 94 BPM, and we are going to make small changes. So it's boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. And then it's boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, which is tresillo. So boom, ka, tresillo, boom, like that. Tresillo, boom. Okay, so that's tresillo appears in so many genres. I keep teaching you guys that because it appears everywhere. Okay, so really outside of this, I think there's like a do part, but you know, I'm not gonna sit here and make a lean back all over again. I think it's kind of cheesy, but I'll just show you guys how to do that. Just drag and drop your kicks. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So probably this amount of kicks. So in 2000s, they did stuff a little bit differently. Now, one thing I want to add here is a percussion that goes, let me see it. It's in here somewhere here. So we got to figure out a place to add this. So like that. Just so it, you know, exaggerates that gap. Now we have that rhythm. Now let's add these strings. Again, we're playing, the notes that we're playing is D sharp and G sharp. This is called a perfect fifth because it's 7 semitones away. So here's the root note. Count up 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Play those together. That's called a perfect fifth. I'm going to play the entire chord, however, which is a minor chord. So we're playing G sharp minor. And then I'm going to play in my left hand 2 octaves of the root note. So it's going to sound thicker. Let's go down it. Okay, let's go down an octave. All right, so let me record this in. Let's do all. Okay. All right, so FL updated and just changed all my settings, which is so annoying. So turn these settings on and let's do this again. Again, you guys will get the project files for free, so don't try to memorize all this. Okay, so at the end, we did an augmented fifth, meaning we're just raising that last chord. We're raising the top note up 1 note. It's called augmented. Let's double click in here. Hit Control L. Whoops. Send that to the mixer. Let's call it strings. Really important to name all your sounds in the mixer. I don't know why this didn't route. Okay, there we go. Because I'm recording to a delay, I have to manually slide this over, okay, so that it's more on the grid. So you guys don't have to worry about all this. But I'd recommend if you guys are recording audio into your DAW, it's probably best that you leave 1 bar of gap time so that there's no latency issues going in. Pretty much the strings. Now we just need a flute. pretty simple, actually. So let me find a flute. All right, so let's just record the classic. I'm pretty sure that's the notes. We're just starting at the root note, which was G sharp, and just going up the scale and then using the pitch bend. It's a little hard to play that repetitively. So we're gonna have to just take the two best takes. Those are probably the best. That one's the best. So because this is so repetitive, we don't need to record a perfect thing all the way through. We just need to find our best ones. I think that's probably one of the best ones. That one's a little slow. That was messed up. That one's pretty good. So I'll keep 3 and get rid of the rest. The main reason is because we want the ear to pick up on small changes, even though it's not a dramatic change. We want those small little differences so that the ear can not think that it's just listening to the same thing over and over again. Okay, so we're going to keep those. Could have been executed better, but the key there is that we're using that pitch wheel on that last note. So it goes dun, 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 and then you pitch bend up. That's what gives it that sound. I think there's like I can't remember the exact sound, but what I'm going to do is add in this is where we're going to add our production. Okay, so that's where Lean Back pretty much ends. I think there's like there's some kind of wrapping up of the strings at the end. So let me go back and add some strings in here. Let's rename this flute. And I think it goes dun, 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 dun. Okay, so I think the flute doesn't play the same thing over and over again. So what I'm going to do is record the second half, but we're going to keep those 4 takes and we're just going to spread them out. So that way it doesn't get repetitive. So now I got to record. Dun, 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 dun. I just forgot how the melody goes. Pretty sure that's how it goes. That actually takes a lot more eye-hand coordination than you would think. That pitch wheel, like being on its own island, is kind of mind-effing. So that is something I wouldn't naturally do. So the fact that he did it explains a lot. See, I didn't do the pitch bend, so it just sounds kind of bland. I like those takes, but let's see if I... Okay, so we have 2 good takes, and we're just going to repeat those. We're not going to sit here for half an hour to get an exact identity. You know what I'm saying. You got to know as a producer to not overly exert effort, or else you're going to burn all your creative energy for the next stuff, and then you're going to be wondering why you guys get stuck on stuff. All right, let's go all the way back. Okay, so now let's add in all the like background filler stuff. All right, I just needed a really rugged saw. So that's all I'm going to add in here is like that super low saw, kind of like the Neptunes, just super low detuned. Just going to add that in somewhere. All right, so pretty basic stuff. Scott Storch's stuff is really minimalistic. In fact, me adding all that is probably taking it to the max. One more thing we could add is like a subtle rhythmic stack at the end, but again, we're kind of overkilling it already. And the beat, we made it so fast, it's almost like my brain wants to add more stuff, but that's again a problem that we producers have. We overly create sometimes. And I'm sure he made the track way more lush and they pulled out a lot of the tracks for the final version. So let's level up some of these drums. Trying to think what else could we even add in this. I want to say some like guitar. I meant to do a half step there, so let me redo it. All right, just little octaves of the same exact thing. It's just using those half steps on the guitar that time. Really basic stuff. So again, very minimalistic, but I doubt the original. I don't know. I wasn't in this session, but I could almost guarantee you guys that the original beat probably had more stuff in it and they took away a lot of stuff. That's what I would assume. It's not necessarily true, but that's what I would assume for this style track. I think I forgot one layer of strings. I'm going to go back and add one layer of strings here. I'm going to record the guitar also one more time and just change it up a little bit, and I'll pan one guitar left, one guitar right. That's going to create width force without adding a bunch of plugins. So let's record that guitar one more time. All right, so at the end, I changed it up just a little bit so that our ear can detect the difference. So we'll call this guitar 2, hit Control L, send it to the mixer. Inside the sampler, we're going to pan this one hard right. So one is pan hard left, one is pan hard right. That's what creates that wide sound because there's like tiny differences in each. And this one, let me mirror the, so I think you can hit Alt to restore and then highlight both, grab this and pull them down equally. So that's how you get that wide sound without adding plugins. It's because there's subtle differences in those guitars. Let me add one more string layer. So I'm just gonna add little chords in the back here and there. Turn that metronome on. So I'm playing the same chord, G sharp minor, into a suspended second, dropping that third down one. So I changed my mind about one of these. I gotta figure out which one it was. Let's take off the metronome. Now again, also Scott Storch, I meant to say, could layer that flute with other things, but for this video, we're not gonna go too ham because we don't have a MIDI out daisy chain. Next video, I think I'm going to do Neptunes because they have a very similar style with that guitar. All right, let's just mix this a little bit. Again, you guys will get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Let's elongate this kick a little bit. Kilohertz has a transient shaper plugin. We're just gonna up the sustain on this kick. Basically compressing it. See what this sounds like on the kick. Oh, wow, okay. This thing kind of blows up after a while. So hopefully I didn't blow anybody's speakers out. Let's add a soft clipper here to prevent clipping. Okay, so this thing is a little quirky when it comes to stacking up those kicks. Let me see if that was just a fluke or if that was, hold up, let me find that pattern. Let's loop this and see if it's the plugin or if I'm just, something happened there. Could have been a glitch. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. So sorry, anybody whose speakers I just blew, because that happened to me one time. So I mean, I really have empathy for y'all. But see how it gets loud out of nowhere? That's just weird. So we're making the kick a little bit longer. Let's do it before and after. So here's before the transient shaper. Here's after. It just holds it there. It's like boo, 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 instead of boo, boo, boo. It's like boo, boo. It just holds it there. It's a little hard to hear though. To prevent that clipping from happening again, let's add a soft clipper directly on the kick. Turn the threshold to the right just in case we can't have our whole track blown up like that. All right, so let's hear that again. Let's add the Rosetta compressor. It's really good on grooves. Let's turn it up so we can hear it. I'm going to exaggerate this so I can hear. Okay, now I can hear the ratio. There we go. Let's turn up the flute and the drums. Turn that flute down a little bit so you can start to see if the flute takes center stage, then we lose track of that rhythm a little bit. So even that second one is a little rushed. Timing is everything in these genres. Now I'm recording to a delay for video recording purposes, so it does throw me off a little bit trying to make beats. Normally I'd be at 88 samples recording, wouldn't have latency like this. So my trick is if I record too fast, I'll nudge the notes a little to the right to make them sound more in the pocket. That usually helps the groove without being destructive. We're really done. It just needs vocals. Let's run it through Gold Clip. Let's see if my computer can handle this. This will add a lot of texture. See how we gain like a lot of depth without doing anything? It's just adding more harmonic content. So here's before Gold Clip. Here's after. It just creates that sonic environment that people keep talking about, like Sonics. And for what I'm going to try to do, let me think for a second. Just to experiment, I'm going to add this Bit Crush plugin. We're going to right click. We're going to type in 40,000 and then 12 bits. Oops, not 1 bit, 12 bits. And then we're going to turn up the quality. This is going to emulate the MPC 60 sound, but everything's going through this. Okay, so it does strangle some of the top end. I kind of like it open like this, but the Bit Crush is a nice texture. I do that for more New York boom bap type stuff, harder with more acoustic drums. That's a little secret. And then you guys can run the Fruity Wave Shaper going into that plugin. So here's what it would sound like if I were to stack up that chain. Let's add the Bit Crusher. Let's do Fruity Wave Shaper. Give it a curvature like this, a concave curvature. Go to the settings, turn your mix to about 50%, 4x over sampling, and then turn the preamp up. And now we're filling out those harmonics nicely. Let's compare before and after the Bit Crush. Let's do Bit Crush on and then off. So again, that kick with that transient shaper got a little crazy at the end. So you guys got to monitor this plugin here. It's not, I wouldn't use it for back-to-back stuff because it could trigger unnecessarily. What was I saying here? I forgot what I was. Oh, I forgot. Oh, let's do it. Okay, that was before. Excuse me, that was with the bit crush on. Here's with the bit crush off. It's gonna sound a little more open. And I like the sound, it's just more open. To preserve our eardrums, I'm gonna take off the transient shaper just because it goes overkill on those back-to-back kicks. I realized too that super saw was tricking my brain to think it was distorting. It was just the super saw sound. But it does get dense around the turnarounds. All right, so what else is there to do? If anything, I'd add a limiter just for loudness, but it sounds good. There's nothing else to do on this track. I was gonna add the Rosetta compressor to the kick to see if we can make it longer without running it through a transient shaper. So all that clicking and crackling is the audio buffer length. Let's turn this up. I'm gonna let this rock 2 more times. All right, you guys will get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio to get these project files for free. If you're new, subscribe, like this video, share with a friend. Peace.